You need to know this.
Tonight, more American families in agony.
It's hard to see them like this.
In St. Louis, John Proctor's once healthy 18-year-old son lies paralyzed on a ventilator at Barnes Jewish Hospital after John says BB got West Nile virus from a mosquito bite earlier this month.
How does that hit you, that this was in all likelihood, doctors say, a mosquito bite, and here's where we are?
It's hard to fathom how such a small, insignificant creature can take a perfectly 100% healthy human being and make it so that they can't even move or support their head.
Oh my God.
They can't regulate their body temperature, and it just causing havoc on his body that fast.
The Proctor family's nightmare marking another alarming severe case of mosquito-borne viruses. Today, Wisconsin public health officials revealing 2 people there died this month from West Nile. The deaths in Wisconsin come as West Nile cases hit 33 states across the country. Experts point to a hotter, more humid summer, conditions just right for mosquitoes to thrive, spreading West Nile and a deadly virus called Triple E. Health officials in Massachusetts today announcing a second human case of eastern equine encephalitis in a woman in her 30s. 5 states total now reporting cases, as the effects of mosquito-borne illnesses hit home for a growing number of families.
I just keep telling him, look at my face. Is Dad scared? And he goes, and that's how we get through.
Are you scared?
I'm scared. I'm scared.
BB's family is inside that hospital praying for a full recovery. They've been told it's possible, but could take a year or more.
Thanks for watching. Let's go to the next one.
A Metro Atlanta woman is sharing her story from her hospital bed.
11 Alive's Cody Alcorn spoke to her, and she has a warning to other people as she's in the hospital battling the West Nile virus.
The whole thing is just completely crazy. I get bit by mosquitoes constantly in the summer, my whole life. I never thought a thing about it.
Ann Dillard speaking to me over Zoom from her hospital bed at Emory.
From my mid-core down, I'm practically paralyzed. I can feel it, but the muscle strength is gone.
Her symptoms,
And I noticed that I had a rash on my stomach.
continued to worsen,
That became a full body rash.
which within days,
And I was starting to feel a little off, like, weak and sort of low appetite. I feel like I probably just have COVID or the flu or something. I'm just blowing it all off.
until she couldn't any longer.
I get up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, put my legs over, and they buckle underneath me. Wow. I'm on the floor. I can't get up. I scoot on my behind back to the door to unlock it, call 911.
Once at Emory,
They just started me on a bunch of different therapies and sent off my blood to get a bunch of tests.
this past weekend, doctors got the results.
Saturday, interestingly enough, like 10 minutes after the report about Dr. Fauci came,
The former top U.S. infectious disease expert who confirmed he'd been hospitalized with West Nile.
the neurologist came in and said, it's West Nile virus.
trustable.
And I was like, you are kidding me. That is so bizarre.
Prompting Dillard to speak out.
If I can do anything to prevent anyone from going through this, it's totally worth it.
Cody Alcorn, 11 Alive News.
Dillard tells us the pain has been excruciating. This virus is affecting her nerves. She will be moving to a rehab facility in a couple weeks, and doctors say they haven't given a full timeline on when she'll be back on her feet. She's just hoping for a full recovery, and so are we. We do want to remind you that the virus spreads through mosquitoes, and right now the CDC reports 6 cases across the state. The best way to avoid getting the West Nile virus is to keep the mosquito bites from you if you can. Experts recommend use some bug spray. Also make sure the screens on your windows are intact and remove standing water from around your home.
New concern over mosquitoes. West Nile virus now reported in more than 30 states. And in fact, here in New York City tonight, they do plan to spray. And one Massachusetts town has taken major steps, closing parks and athletic fields. And Dr. Anthony Fauci is now home from the hospital, recovering from the West Nile virus himself. Here's ABC's Ariel Reshef.
Tonight, in the fight against the West Nile virus, trucks from New York City's health department will be fanning across Manhattan and Brooklyn, targeting disease-carrying mosquitoes with pesticide spray.
This is peak of mosquito season. Cities are actually
prime breeding ground for certain mosquito species.
It comes as the country's former top infectious disease official, Dr. Anthony Fauci, was recently hospitalized with the virus. The 83-year-old is now home and expected to make a full recovery.
Most everyone who gets West Nile doesn't even realize it. They're asymptomatic, but in small numbers of cases, people will experience fever, headache, body aches.
Experts say a hotter, wetter climate puts people in closer contact with more mosquitoes. In Massachusetts, 8 communities, including Boston, are now at high risk for West Nile. And this week, the state will start spraying in some communities to combat an even rarer and more deadly mosquito-borne disease called Triple E.
Rare.
The town of Plymouth now closing fields and parks from dusk till dawn. And David, those mosquito-borne illnesses are not passed person to person. As for that pesticide spray, officials say it is low risk, but you can stay indoors to avoid any potential side effects.
So
David?
thank goodness.
It's that time of year. Ariel Resha for us here in New York. Ariel, thank you.
We've had a lot of rain, and more rain means more mosquitoes across the metro.
Today, we're learning that some of them are carrying West Nile virus. In Health Watch, Jonah Kaplan reports on how crews are working to contain the growing population.
How many states has this been now?
So, man, it's going through. So so far we have Missouri, we got Atlanta,
Now Minnesota, New York, right? They said New York,
Texas.
Oh, my goodness.
They have others. We gonna.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to
Another
hear so
day,
far.
another rain shower, another target on the Metropolitan Mosquito Control District's growing map of mosquito hotspots.
If it's raining so much and so often, are the treatments even effective?
They are. What we're finding is we're not quite at the 10-year average. So we're below average despite all the rain. So a part of that is the efforts of MMCD, but a big part of it as well is we're just coming off of 3 years of drought.
The district this year already treating an additional 30,000 acres this summer on top of what was done in all of last year. We followed this field crew into the wetlands at Oakdale Discovery Center. This vial is full of larvae, so that means the helicopter will make a pass here this week.
Every time that it rains about an inch or more, we have to go check all the wetlands where mosquito larvae tend to develop.
Of course, the field technicians, they don't just come out here to collect samples because they want to know where to treat them, but they need to know where and how to study them. There are more than 52 species of mosquitoes in the metro, and we know that they can carry some diseases like West Nile virus.
West Nile so far has been found in samples taken from Anoka and Dakota counties. Hennepin Healthcare says one child has been hospitalized. Epidemiologist Dr. Stacy Marushek saying she's not so alarmed since West Nile has been found here before.
It's a very small percentage of people that would get infected would develop the more serious neurologic conditions.
Wearing light-colored clothing, bug spray, and keeping your yard free of standing water, they're all ways to help keep the bugs away. In Oakdale, Jonah Kaplan, WCCO News.
The doctor says West Nile virus can appear like a mild flu. If you experience more symptoms, more serious symptoms like migraines or abnormal muscle movements, then you should go to.
Oh, that's so scary.
Feast unleash an attack on mosquitoes from the air and streets. Health officials in Wisconsin confirming 2 people have now died in that state from West Nile virus. This morning, nearly 290 cases reported across more than 30 states. The mosquito-transmitted illness accounting for 100 to 200 deaths each year. In Missouri, 18-year-old John Proctor VI, now on a ventilator, contracting the disease early this month. His parents say symptoms started with headaches and dizziness, then spiraled into vomiting, disorientation, and a dangerous fever.
And to see him lethargic and struggle to do simple basic functions, it's hard. The doctors describe this as a marathon to beat this virus since there's no actual cure for it.
Many who get West Nile may not ever feel sick, but 1 out of every 150 people infected may develop serious, even fatal illness. And this morning, concern about another rare but potentially lethal mosquito-borne virus, Triple E, with 6 people sickened in at least 5 states.
So
Las Vegas is riddled with West Nile virus positive mosquitoes.
Really? Wait a minute. I
Usually we
didn't
don't have
know about this
mosquitoes here
video.
at all, but if we do, it's after all the flooding that occurs in monsoon season in July and August. But this year, even without standing water yet, the mosquitoes are already rampant. Here's what you need to know.
Oh, they
the
got in
Southern
Vegas,
Nevada
too.
Health District released a statement saying they found a bunch of West Nile positive mosquitoes and some positive with something called St. Louis encephalitis. They also issued guidelines saying that you should wear long sleeves, loose pants, and use an approved insect repellent and eliminate any standing water that you see. Mosquitoes last fall were especially vicious, so make sure to come prepared. The good news is that tourist areas are almost never affected.
Good.
Most of the water on the strip is moving or part of some sort of art, and it's really the residential areas that take the biggest hit. If you're from a place that has mosquitoes, this is no news to you. But if you're a regular Vegas visitor and you don't know to prepare for them, they might catch you off guard. Share your tips for warding off the pesky bugs in the comments. I'll put more details there and follow.
I wanted to say, oh man, I tell y'all before, you know, we are believers in Christ. I will tell y'all that every time. I tell you that in your face, that we are in. You know how we've been saying, you know, from the Bible is talking about the longest that we're in the last days. It's been saying that for 2,000 years, but there's levels of last days. I think it looks like what we are in the final phase of that. And if you look on Revelations 18:8, it talks about, therefore shall her plagues, which is America and the world, come in one day, death and mourning and famine, and she shall be utterly burned with fire. For the strong is the Lord God who judgeth her. So, and y'all know that it always comes together. A plague, a famine. They all tied together. War. These all are tied together. We are definitely on a time that's like no other. Whereas a lot of people aren't going to take this literal. And what's the funniest thing to me about all of this, from the top of the situations, is Fauci. It's Fauci. Out of all the people, listen, babe, all the people that could have gotten it in the world, why did Fauci, where was he? Because they will not tell you and confirm where that man was at when he caught that. So out of all people, why did Fauci get it? He was just randomly just in the woods? No.
Good question. Good question. But I will say is, how is it that we're not hearing much about this? These are, now I'm starting to hear a little bit more, but it's still very silent compared to all this political news that we're hearing and seeing. So, great people, you definitely need to be vigilant. You need to zoom in and gear yourself up. Don't act like it ain't what it is, because obviously that was almost the whole U.S. that was covered on that map. It was only a few states left that weren't covered yet. Mm-hmm. So it's just a matter of time before they spread.
That hadn't been updated because I saw it and it was in Seattle now. Too. Seattle was off that list on that diagram we saw, but now it is on that list.
Wow. So all I'm saying is zoom in and do whatever you need to make sure you and your family stay well and healthy. Ooh, that's so sad. Scary, that young man. We have to pray for these people.
The Bible talks about all these things coming true. Pestilence, famine, shortage on food. Y'all understand what that is? War.
And stay prayed up, good people. Every day. Every day.
We've mentioned
pray
in the past.
And get in communion with God so you can hear and know his voice, so you can get instruction as to how to be led for the safety and wellness of your household, for longevity. For optimal longevity.
For optimal longevity.
Let us know what you think, guys. Get in that comment section. Are you aware? Do you know about this? Have you heard about this? Do you have the repellent? Do you have those candles for mosquitoes or anything else that you need to help you stay well? How are you preparing, or do you already know about this? And hopefully you have not been affected in a negative way.
Absolutely. Or anyone in your family or anyone you know.
That's right.
So perilous times are ahead, y'all. And I want to say, man, 2024, be more.
Talk less.
We'll see you on the next one.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Yeah.